Well, look, we've only got time for a few minutes to discuss the parade in Moscow, starting in a few hours' time, Moscow time, which recalls another era, another age, almost another world, Scott, where Victory Day, 1945, when the great wartime alliance of the United States, Great Britain, China, and the Soviet Union defeated fascism, crushed the beast in his Berlin lair. It's almost in my lifetime, 9 years before I was born, and yet the world situation we have today is so totally unrecognizable from that. It's hard to believe that it has all happened. As I said earlier, now we're supposed to hate Russia and love Germany, hate China and love Japan, even though we fought to the deaths of millions of people. We fought these adversaries in almost my own lifetime, and definitely in the lifetime of some of the people watching this.
Look, last year I had the honor and privilege of being in Moscow during Victory Day and to witness the parade firsthand. It's been described by Western commentators, by Western politicians, as a propaganda event, an empty gesture designed to appease the narcissistic, life of Vladimir Putin and his corrupt political elite. I can state with absolute certainty that it is not a propaganda event, not the way the Russians view it. It is an event that resonates with the very soul of the Russian people, because unlike their Western counterparts, they live the history of their nation, and they know the sacrifices that were made to defeat Nazi Germany. They know and they respect the alliances that they had. Last year, one thing that was apparent was that despite the fact that the United States, Great Britain, France, and the rest of Europe have done their best to forget the role Russia played in the decisive role Russia played and the Soviet Union played in defeating Nazi Germany, the Russians have never forgotten the role played by their allies, their one-time friends, and they continuously praise the sacrifice made by Americans, by the British, by the French, and others to overcome this enemy that is responsible for the deaths of 27 million Soviet citizens. So the hand of friendship is being extended by the Russians, but slapped away by the West. The difference between last year's parade and this year's parade, though, is that they have a president now who just was reelected, who is in the process of redefining Russia going forward. The Russia today is a far different place than the Russia of last year, because it's now united with a sense of patriotism, and it's looking forward to a world where Russia no longer feels obliged to work with their former allies to define Russia's place in the world. Russia will define its own place in the world, and it's a place that is defined by the greatness of the sacrifice that the Russian people have made in making the Russian state what it is today. And Victory Day is a living manifestation of that sacrifice and the pride that the Russians have in those who sacrificed so that they can live at the present moment.
Zelensky's presidency is up on the 20th of May. Is his time coming close, do you think? I mean, nothing is going to be achieved. No negotiation is going to be achieved with Zelensky at the helm in an illegitimate presidential term. In fact, Russia has put him on the wanted list. What's your take on that?
Well, there's two, tells, so to speak. One, words mean everything to Russians, especially Russian leaders. And Marshal Shoigu, the defense minister, has recently said that Russia has gone over from the active defense to the offense. And this is more than just a military move. This signifies that Russia has made a decision that the time of negotiated settlement is over, and that Russia is now taking matters into its own hands to achieve a military-based victory premised on the notion of unconditional surrender. And what proves this point is the point you made. Russia has put Zelensky, Poroshenko, former president, and other senior members of the Zelensky government on a wanted list, which means that Russia will never negotiate with these people. Russia will never sit down at the table with these people. And that means that the opportunity for a negotiated end of this conflict is over. This conflict will be won by the sword, and that sword is going to be wielded in a bloody, effective manner by the Russians over the course of this summer.
Such a tragedy, such a disaster. Thank you very much, Scott Ritter, for your wisdom and eloquence, as always. Scott Ritter, former Marine Corps intelligence officer and world-renowned weapons inspector.